Hey guys, it's Jamie here, and I was asked earlier in group how you choose magazine images and what you use from old magazines when it comes to junk journaling. I mainly use magazine images for art journaling or collage. Don't really use them in junk journals, but I can show you I have 4 different magazines here, the sort of thing I'm looking for when I go through a magazine. It also means that if you do strip a magazine of all the images, you can get rid of the magazine and maybe store the images in a box, easily accessible to come back to later when you have the time to try and be inspired by the pictures. What you're looking for is either very interesting writing or a colour or a pattern or even a person that grabs you, because even when they're shiny, we can de-shine surfaces, we can get people into collages and fade off edges so it looks like they were always there. You can reverse image transfer a person, but you have to also consider your journal page sizes and whether they're going to fit, whether they're the right look for the journal. So if you're looking for people, you're going to look for people who could be vintage. This, even in black and white, even faded and roughed up, isn't a vintage look. There's nothing on here that I would use even as a background pattern. It's too interrupted with other patterns. The blue is nice though, and you might want that strip of blue, but just check the other side to make sure there's nothing on the other side. So here we have Gucci doing a very hippie chic look. Unfortunately, this woman is holding a huge bag. However, if we were to use this image, we would actually replace her with a different background. So we cut her out, have her holding this woman. This woman you would see properly. This one would be cut out with a different background. I can show you that technique another time. So she's a possibility because they are full length, no chopped off legs, no chopped off heads or arms. The ballerina in the background is actually quite an interesting image as well. What I would do is take that page out, and rather than spend hours cutting round things right now when I haven't got a project that I'm actually working on, I would just very quickly tear or trim. Tear's probably quicker. The image down and put that in my box. As a result, I do now have this blue available, and I might put that in a scrap box because this would just be a background for me, so a piece of scrap. The lettering for Gucci is quite a nice font type. You might want to use it if you were just to use a letter cluster. That would be particularly relevant if you were making a journal for a specific person. For example, you're making a journal for Christina, you might do a C cluster. So letters are always useful to keep. These people are not much use to me because legs are missing, etc. The hats might make interesting, fun ephemera pieces to put on paper dolls. You can see how we're looking at things to go, is that clear enough? Can I cut round it? Would it still look like a hat? That type of thing. With this page, what I would take off, bizarrely I suppose, to below the hats. I should have checked this page actually before I did that because this has some very interesting images on it. It's got a beautifully dark background, but I've already started to rip into this, and there are lots of half bodies and people overlapping each other, which isn't the easiest. As you can see, I've already been through here and taken some stuff out. Again, a bit too dark. It does have a nice vintagey looking background to this, and this might be of use. I don't think the actual picture is for my purposes. I will take some of that background colour. This is quite a nice font here, Answer. I am going to just cut that one out. We have Romantic Idea, Future, You. All of those are quite good. These eyes would be interesting in an art journal. Very clear, quite large. There's nothing really on this side apart from maybe that blue that is of interest. I'm going to, rather rudely, just take those eyes. I may never use some of these images. That blue would be quite a nice background colour, but I want to check what's on the other side. That's a beautiful image, but it is only a hotel pool at sunset. You couldn't fussy cut out that very easily, so that's not much help. The reflection's a nice idea, but again, it's a hotel pool. I don't see a need or a use for that. I think I will just go with taking that blue. This is a very beautiful, striking image, but too modern. The background is interesting. This line and this lighter bit would make quite a good frame on a piece of collage. I want to check the rest. Nothing much on that. Next question on this one are the sunglasses and that reflection on the sunglasses of interest? Will they cut out well? Could they be part of a collage or art journal piece? I'm not sure. I don't think they stand out enough. This has nothing to it that would be of interest, nor does that. She could look 1940s, but they are quite big images. She has potential. Now we're going to have a quick look at the wording. Beautiful your way. That's quite nice. Would make quite a nice slogan or saying. Those sunglasses are cool. I want the sunglasses, and that is about it from those images. Okay, that's a little bit from a high-end fashion magazine, which I think a cafe gave me free. Let's have a look at our Rock and Roll Bride magazine next. She's great looking, but look, her hands are on that chair, which is unfortunate. If she was standing without that chair there, I'd be taking that image. You tried to cut that out, it would look like she didn't have fingers. You'd have to have the chair in, it would look odd. This, I love the graffiti behind it. I think there is something I could do with this. That could be really cool in an urban, grungy, collage, art journal scene. If you do faith journals, how cool is that writing? I quite like that feather. I'm probably going to take the whole lot off because I don't want to fussy cut, and I can work out what to do with that at another time. For weirdos, do you know what? From an art journaling self-discovery point of view, that's quite cool wording. I like the balloons, but if you try to imagine fussy cutting those, that would be a bit of a nightmare. Colourful Glastonbury. Colourful is a good word. Festival's a good word. Vibes, glitter. So all of those words would be fantastic, but we want to make sure there's nothing on the other side that we want. See, these flowers are quite cool as well. I think I'd rather have the flowers than the words. What do we have here? Anything that might look funky in a collage that's going to be easy to cut out. Now, I have a circus theme coming up. This tinted and those colours would be circus-like, but not quite. We've got this archway of flowers, which is quite nice, and those stripes of everything on these two pages. Archway and potentially those stripes, but the background isn't right, so really it's just that archway of flowers. I am going to see if I can just get a couple of flowers out of that one. I will do the art journaling video soon, and probably use some of this in one of the full deck challenges, because it did say happy scraps. I've now made these scraps. What we do have is those colour dots. Those are always useful. Love this purple smoke behind the couple, but that is not going to be particularly easy to use outside of that scene. So it would have to be that you would want that scene in your collage. Tropical music, those are both good words. The little bridesmaids are cute, but they're not particularly vintage. That is not an interior I can use. There's some beautiful photos here and some really lovely detail. The only thing is, it's going to be of no use in a collage. That pineapple, don't think you could even fussy cut that pineapple, but we do have another colour palette. Got the word dance. I'm just looking at the background to see if the background is of any use. Those flowers might be, but it would only be a snippet. I'm not sure it's worth ripping out for that. But that vintage glam is great. All these old photos are lovely, but you've got people in the bar. Those flowers are quite nice. I'm not sure if you could make those look old or not, but we will give that a go. That is a lovely print there with those flowers, but I'm not sure how that would work. Could be a journaling card in itself. turned the other way. That dress could be for a paper doll. Again, you've got another colourway. They're ready-made colour wheels for you. If you were to use those colours together in a piece of collage or art, they are going to match. That might be useful with the flags and that symbol. Midsummer, and then you've got dream. It sounds awful to do this to people, but if they didn't exist, would I use that gypsy caravan? Let's move on to another magazine. Now we have this dolls magazine. Now this should be interesting. Oh, look, paper doll outfits immediately. Now my art journal is only for this size, so I have to bear that in mind when looking for images. Here we have a nice little advert. More adverts here, so you can see that this sort of magazine is going to have plenty in it. Even this little painting down here, these words are great as well. From an art collage point of view, that face would be interesting. Look at these dolls. Now unfortunately most of them are going to be too big for my art journal, but that is one scary face. You do have these letters, which are always useful. That whole card is amazing, but obviously that would not necessarily fit a junk journal page. We'll take it out and then just see. That face is interesting. And then on this side, this sketch or whatever it is, take it down a bit, and while we're there we might as well take this doll out. Not sure I really have a use for that, but you never know. We have the Barbies. We want a Barbie where you can see everything. This one is about the only one. You have to imagine with an art journal you may only want the heads. I'm not sure actually which one I would want more. Possibly this side. I will take those two as well because you just never know with art journaling. Great but huge. That's quite nice. That could be fussy cut out. Let's move on to the have we done rock and roll? National Geographic. Probably won't go through all of this because this video has gone on for a long time already. Let's just see what National Geographic has to offer. Okay, those faces are awesome for art journaling. That pill might even be quite good because I think you could fussy cut that out. And with art journaling, I'm tending to go on the more modern side. Okay, nothing there. Quick look through, quick impressions. No lettering, no nothing. That's lovely. That could almost be an old oil painting if you treated it. That is a great image, and that is just something someone's done for me as part of an advert. I don't think you need the whole stethoscope. I think you could just go for that eye, but we also have a map on this side. Okay, maps are 2 a penny, so we'll go with the eye. Seize the day, quite a nice phrase. Great colours. Yeah, 1930s deco feel. So that could be useful for that style. Although that was part of his shoulder, you wouldn't know it now. It could be a rock. Wow, that's some colour in that one. Avoid as much as possible anything that suggests people in there. Now this is hugely interesting photo. You could fussy cut him out and him, although you are missing a bit of his foot. You can see the sort of thing I'm doing. I also then have books that you could go through, like antique furniture, lettering, illustrated dictionaries, and they will all have other things that you could use in junk journals, and particularly I think art journaling and collage. I hope you have enjoyed what I've managed to show you. I didn't really describe why I was choosing things or why they were grabbing me as well as I would have liked to, but until I put it together, it's very hard for me to explain why something's caught my eye. When I put a collage or a piece of art together, then it becomes a little bit clearer. Therefore, I would suggest that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss me using these pieces. that you give me a thumbs up for at least trying to explain this process to you, and you leave me a comment about whether you use magazines and where you source them from in the comments below, and I will see you next time.